Welcome to Navarrero's online showcase video, M.I.A. edition. After starting the rework of my station over here last time, it is finished and I've already started unloading some of the cordwood. And as per usual, especially once the output side of this industry is empty, it's just gonna eat through the cordwood, and that's also why I wanted to get a longer train to begin with. Because those 48 cars, if you really start loading things up again, it doesn't last long. You can barely fill up the input side and then also maybe the storage over here. But after that, the train is basically gonna be empty and you're gonna need to do another trip right away. So 72 cars are hopefully gonna help that situation. Otherwise, next step up would be 96, I guess. Yeah, I hope it doesn't come to that, but who knows? I'm still playing with that idea, and that is dangerous and concerning. Anyways, the engines have now found their home over here. So that's the ones for the cordwood train, both the Twin C and the C125. And everything else has been finished both on this yard and also the other one at the logging camp. So to show you how it looks like right now, well, we have part of the train right here. I've already, as I mentioned, taken a few cars and got a bit of stuff from the output. We're actually going to do the rail delivery today, if it works out. But yeah, this is now the new runoff area. Let's go in further in this direction until we hit the stopper where we can also find the caboose. So now all I'm gonna do is take the loaded cars from one side, empty them out and then push them over here and rinse and repeat until all of those cars are on this track, and at that point I can reassemble the train and bring it back over to the logging camp for a reload. And yeah, the other side, let's take a quick look at all of that. Should be just down here. We got a telegraph office right here, so that should be good for seeing what changed over here. So on the old version, there was a switch right here, connecting the leftmost track to the rightmost. The middle track had a stopper before that, and that was basically it. Now the entire thing just continues a bit further around the hill. And over here, like 150 meters later or something, we can now find the new stopper and the new switch that brings the two tracks together. This is of course so that when you come in here with the train engines first, you can disconnect the engines, get them away from the train, and then drive around on the other side to bring them to the roundhouse or the resupply area. So in terms of how it works out, nothing changed here. It's just a bit longer, and I hope I got the additional distance right. It's a bit longer than I initially wanted it to be, but I think it also works out pretty well with the area right here. I don't want to make it too long, because in the end that's just gonna be additional distance that I need to travel every time I do this. So yeah, I definitely don't want it to be too short, but also gonna be careful to not make it immensely long. Then again, maybe I should have even extended the part after the switch over here. Not because I'm afraid that the engines wouldn't fit on here, but just to be a bit more safe. 72 cars is a lot of inertia, really hard to get to a hold, and especially if you just pull the brakes too hard, the rear part of the train is going to compress the front part, and that's going to throw a lot of cars off the track. So you really have to be careful with this one, but that's also kind of fun because it's a different kind of challenge. Anyways, that's all that changed in terms of my layouts over here. Let's now go back to the smelter and have a look at the train right here with all the rails loaded. So these are 6 stake cars loaded with a grand total of 60 rails. I'm pretty sure that's all that the coal mine can actually take. Yeah, it has a storage of 60, of course, since it now already has a few beams in there, it would be depleting some of those, but I just want to fill up the storage there every now and again, and that should be it. It's not gonna need many resupplies because it needs much fewer rails than the beams. But since it's such a different type of cargo and coming from a different location, I thought it would be a better idea to just separate everything out. So the whole initial part where I would bring this over to the coal mine base camp on the other side of the mountain ridge here, it just didn't work out too well. So we're now doing this. And I hope it works, but once again, I haven't really tested it, and there's especially one switch over that I could see being a problem, but, well, we'll get to that in a moment. Also, I should probably get to the rear engine, because that's gonna need to power up as well. So I'm gonna pull the reverse in the correct direction, and yeah, then maybe go back up to the front one if I can. That's always a bit tough, and that's really not something that you are supposed to be doing, but I kinda need to anyways. These kinda mountain trains with switchbacks and all of that, it's risky, but I like it. Just gotta be careful about it. And yeah, I still need to fill in water. They still only have the amount that they came with, and it's getting a bit low, but this shouldn't be the longest trip. It's just one that's a bit more involved than a lot of others. Coming up to this first switchback, so I think this would be a good time to just cut the regulator already. The train isn't going to be able to just continue with its speed right here, but slowing down a bit, just making it past the switch up ahead, that's exactly what I want from it, and I think this should be good. Yeah, there comes the other track that we actually need to get onto. And that's the switch. So let's cut the reg, get off, and pull it to the other side. Perfect. And I think for the next bit I might not even need the back engine. We are going at 5.5% here, I think, pretty sure, but at this point already we are kinda evening out again. So it just mellows out a little bit because it doesn't need the grade right here. And from the whole switchback thing we get a lot of momentum just rolling back down here. So yeah, that worked out pretty well, but it's getting steeper again on that end, so I think I may need the engine after all, and that's gonna be a very risky maneuver because we are running into a very short switchback. I hate how you sometimes just glitch through the entire thing. Okay, get the reverse in the right direction. And look at the F menu to get a better idea of how it's working. It's really jittery right now with how everything goes. Let's cut the reg already. We just need to make it over that hump there, and I also don't want to go too quickly. So yeah, this would be really useful now to have a way to directly change the reg on the front engine. So I guess I'm just gonna have to do this here. It needs to pull the majority of the train over the hump, and that makes it a bit slower. Of course I cannot get in there. Okay, let's see. I made this really steep here, so I likely need the power. I just want to barely touch the stopper in the end to get the most of the length that we have here, but I think it might not be enough. Let's see. Okay, yeah, just gonna do it like that. Slowly bump it, and then let's see where we are. Yeah. So the switchback needs to be longer by this amount from the front part of the wheel to over here. So that is a few meters. Let's check if I can get any measurement from here. Just wanna try and get a snapping point if I can. We had one right there. It looked like a snapping point, but evidently it did nothing. Okay, let's go straight, and we need like 7 meters, just about. I don't want to say I can't do it because, I mean, there's really very little keeping me from doing it, but it's not gonna look pretty. So I may need to consider another rework over here if I can. Maybe I can pull the switch further in this direction. I mean, I can possibly pull the other switch back further, putting the entire track further down here. That should be alright. Yeah, I might need to do something like that. So let's see, I think I still have the other one pulled. So yeah. I actually need to use this engine right now. Loosen the brake, and we just need to get back down from the last part here. Add another 7 meters, and then we can at least continue our journey right here. Everything else is something I need to figure out later. And I hope I didn't just kill the train with my brake here. The brakes are still very iffy, and I don't trust them. You know what, since I'm just doing this quick and dirty now, let's go and... Jesus Christ, take the... this tag right here, just so that I don't need to bother with ground clearance and all of that. That should be able to do it. So we want 7 meters, just like that. And of course we need the stop high again, because otherwise we're gonna accelerate very drastically once we go over the edge here. And now we should at least be able to make this. But yeah, I think in the end the goal is going to be making this better, not just making this at any cost. Boop. And that's about it. Of course I cannot get off here anymore because, well, I'm missing the walkway. So let's move the switch over, and then we should be able to just get going again. I think at this point I need both engines because we are gonna go with a full 5.5% grade. Also may give it another shovel while I'm here. And yeah, the next switchback is coming up already. I think there's only gonna be another one or theoretically 2 after that. What the hell was that now? Jesus Christ, the game. Okay, bye. I'm gonna re-rail it so that it doesn't move any further. It should at least pull the brakes now. Yeah, I think I'm better off just rolling this back down again. I don't know what happened there. We don't have the tiny annoying trees and all of that on the map here. So it cannot be something like that. Oh, it's this part poking through. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't like these because I don't know how to deactivate them. I don't know what they are even useful for. I think it would be more if I make a transition to groundwork and all of that. This should be keeping that stuff back, but right now the plate is really apparently just getting in the way. I didn't even consider this when building. Okay, let's see. I'm kinda stuck on that now. I can maybe try and pull it apart with force. And that's not going anywhere, so let's hit the brakes and just get rid of this at this point. So, yeah. As I said, this is untested and I didn't really expect that to happen. Okay, I think the best thing I can do here is just get rid of this bridge and connect both of them together. I don't know if it's gonna be doing exactly what I wanted to now, but yeah. Too far above the ground can also mean that it's inside the ground here. The game isn't really amazing with that kind of stuff. It looks a lot smoother now, which should mean that it's also, if anything, a lower grade, so that should be alright. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to try that. And I think if I do a rework, I would definitely shorten the bridge here. I think somewhere around here it can already end and transition back to regular groundwork. But yeah, gonna have to try all that. And then potentially considering to maybe also get another thing going here that might get rid of two of the switchbacks here. I don't know. The area is suddenly very crowded with all of the stuff going on, which is kind of more interesting, but it also looks pretty messy. I mean, with some of the stuff I also need to add proper foundation, like for the switchback over here, this thing is just floating. But maybe I could also just get rid of both of them altogether and do without them. I will have to see about that. Come on. So coupling again, turning off the brake, and let's get the train back together. But yeah, everything that I built here is with kind of tricky to deal with space restrictions. So yeah, this is likely gonna need a few reworks. And the fun thing about this is I was at a point a few months ago where I thought that we were nearly finished with the save, but as I've shown you guys both with the corporate train and also this entire ordeal, if you really want to, you are never finished. Which is also kind of fun. I love this playthrough, I love doing more here, so I'm not gonna complain about more work that I'm giving myself. Okay, I don't think that engine alone can do it, and I'm very slowly and stupidly climbing over the entire thing here. And yeah, 5.5% is something the train can deal with. Both of the engines together should be strong enough. And looking at how quickly we are accelerating, I would even say that there's likely a bit of potential for steeper grades if needed. I think we might be coming back to this area at the end of the video, and then I'll talk about a few other things that I'm considering right now. Right now I think it's better if we just stick to the train here and... oh shit, that thing is still running. I forgot. I should have turned this off. Now the other side is coming back. This is how it goes if it doesn't go well, if you... everything derailed. This one isn't even attached anymore. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so one thing I really like about this game is that they finally improved the re-railing tool. That's definitely gonna be a help now. Jesus Christ, let me get on top of that stupid thing there. What the fuck, you... Jesus fucking Christ. Gotta give it to the game. When you get into a stressful situation and it starts getting a bit laggy, I don't think there's much that could be more annoying than that, because it's still having some severe issues here. It's gotten a lot better recently, but better is still not always good enough. Especially with the tendency to have you clip into something, get stuck on stuff and all of that. It's annoying. At least we don't have a long train here, so it shouldn't take too long to get it back on track. But yeah, when you just try to quickly pull the brakes, it's not always doing as you want. I'm just gonna get them back on the rails and then cut all the brakes. And then we'll see from there. So we have Lincoln pin over here. Need another right here. Maybe I can fit another car in between there. So just like that. Also Lincoln pin over there. So that one that I just put down there doesn't need another one. Come on. The thing is, before that whole update to the re-railing tool and everything, this situation would have certainly caused me to just reload the save and try again from the last time I saved. Because this kind of stuff was never worth the time. Okay, let's see. Yeah, now we really just need to cut the brakes, reconnect all the cars. Add the missing pins, and that should be it. And getting rid of the brakes over here. And I think in the end I'm just gonna take that engine and push everything up into the other one. Okay, this is still partially on the track, so it may actually work if I just... It doesn't have a brake pulled. This one neither, so... By the way, how are we looking for fuel? Gonna need another few shovels. We're not gonna make it up there if we don't keep on top of it. So let's see, does this just right itself? Not really, but it somehow still rolls, so at least until that point. Let's go third person. Easier to see that way. Maybe the mountain is gonna push it back on track. Yep, that's exactly what happened. And maybe I should have also made the runoff a bit steeper over here, so that what happened there wouldn't at least be quite as harsh. That whole thing is just rocking back and forth. Do I have a connection correct right here? Yep, there's one here. No over there. And can we get the link without any additional power? Oh, we can. Okay, let me just get back here. And do that. Let's now go to the front. I don't think that engine can do much on its own, at least not with the brake pulled in here. Okay, 30%. This is eating through the coal pretty quickly. They're gonna give more power. Go with both engines. And at least we are going again. I'd also want to look up front in case I missed some trees or something. I hope I didn't, because that would be really annoying at this point. One almost complete re-railing is enough for a day, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna have to go further up there. So first crossing over to the other side of the mountain. Can see the other side of the valley over there. And climbing further up to the next switchback, which is going to come soon after that bridge there. I think it also evens out beforehand, so I should be able to just cut the engine now. As long as it doesn't stall out and start rolling backwards, better sooner than later. And yeah, glitching through the entire engine as per usual. I should really just be using fly mode for everything. Okay, I think that track going off into the distance should be long enough. Always good to have a bit of spare room there. You know what, since I'm up here already, I couldn't really measure this out beforehand. And yeah, this is not giving me as much space as I would have hoped for, but this switchback shouldn't be that difficult anyways. So switch is pulled. I might actually need to put the switch on the other side. Let me just do that real quick. Famous last words, real quick. Okay. I was afraid it would maybe snap to the wrong part and go that direction, but that's offset anyways. Should probably also get it into the right orientation here. So yeah. It was the only breaker I pulled, and therefore we can just get going again. And you know what, at this point I'm going to only engage the second engine if the first one cannot make it, just to prove that the second one is actually necessary here. Because one engine seems to be doing a decent job anyways, but I mean you can see how it's slowly slowing down, so that should be enough proof here. And I actually need to pull it this way around. And yeah, up there we have the coal mine. Finally. The last switchback is actually part of the runoff from there, so that's just some piece of track that we need there anyways in order to maneuver around if we load or unload. There's always going to be a few cars that are going past the industry itself. So we can use it for double duty. And I should also pull double duty here and take care of the other engine as well. And yeah, we are coming up here, and as soon as I get back to the bottom of it, and I mean the valley, I will take care that we get some proper water. Gonna let them go to the water hole and let them just drink to their heart's content. And here we are, slowly coming in. And yeah, with this configuration, I think it pays off just cutting one of the engines out a bit sooner before going to the next one. Oof. Okay. I didn't account for that, but since we are coming up here now and the train is still somewhat sizable, we may need a few more meters over there. Actually, it's kind of perfect. Also, what I may need to do here is get rid of tracks and relay them so that I can get a sidewalk. I kind of wish the sidewalk that we can have with one of these bridges here, this one, would just be something that we can attach to every bridge type afterwards. Because right now it's only on that bridge and it's not that useful. Oops. And that's me done for. Gotta report to OSHA that I just fell off a mountain. But yeah, the last thing I want to do here is also just unload everything. And there's gonna be definitely a few reworks here the next time around. Likely even before I get the train back down, because I would like to do so without having to re-rail everything. Going down is usually just a bit of playing with the brakes. But I'd still like to do that decently safe. But hey, we made it. So let's unload, let's get the money. By the way, after buying 2 C125s, this entire train including the engines, and then the additional cordwood cars for that train, I am pretty much broke now. I mean, in the end, all that I have to do is get back to the gold chain. I put the stuff into the stamp mill, but I haven't collected anything from that yet. So if I need another shot into the bank account, then that's easy done. Well, it's easy to do, I mean. And yeah, this is already giving quite a good reward. For some reason, the devs at some point decided to raise the amount of money you get from rails. It was already definitely enough, possibly a bit much beforehand. And with some changes a few months ago, they even increased that, and they made the stuff that really needed above even pay out less, and it's a whole thing. But hey, I'm making more money with this, so I should be happy about that. Okay, this needs to be far enough. I'm not gonna bother pulling the train along any further. Yeah, this is now giving me like 35 or something. So that's 330 or 350 per car. And yeah, this is already processing, so the next time I can come up here is going to be with the gondolas getting the, or the hoppers, getting the coal out of here. Should be 120 in the end, and I think we already got that there. So yeah, that's all been working out fine. Let's now, towards the end of the video, before I end this for today, quickly talk about what I think about this area right now. As I mentioned, it's a bit of a mess. I can make some stuff look a bit more supported, but it's not gonna change the overall feel that you get from this area. For that, I would need to do a few other things, and here are the options. I would like to potentially get rid of both switchbacks right here. Two ways of doing this. Since I already noticed that the track basically evens out over here, just getting onto this ledge and then slowly picking up the grade again over here until I think after the bridge, this is where it really gets steep again. This is the full grade for only this turn right here. If I keep it to my intended grade, I should be able to actually cross over this bridge somewhere around here. I don't know if I would be cutting across just like this, but maybe there's something to be done here. Maybe needing a rework of the upper track as well. Although I don't really want to do that, because if I change something about this, make the route any shorter, then it's also going to increase the grade at that point. So I would like to keep this the same if possible. But yeah, that would be option number one, trying to get across that over there and basically then reconnecting to this point, skipping both of the switchbacks and all of that. And that would be a lot more on the clean side. Second option that I'm considering, and I'm not entirely sure if that would work out. Right here is the connection point where all the way above here we have the correct grade. It evens out for the bridge there, but that's not really a problem. But down here it gets a bit iffy with all of the terrain that we need to deal with, but I could theoretically take the track from here, go further with my 5.5% and try to make it around the corner and maybe even get a connection to here. I may need to go a bit steeper, but it could work out after all. I know this episode is getting really long, but let me quickly try this. So 5.5% is my intended grade, and we can already see how even the stone support area is going more shallow than that. So if I go down here, I kind of need to come out a bit further on this side, just to set up for the next bend, and I care mostly about the grade right here, not how it might overlap or anything. If I'm not holding my 60 meter minimum corner radius, it's something that I can figure out later. Okay, I can already tell that this little bit of land is slightly too high, so I would need to maybe go up to this. Yeah, that's working out. And then go back down to 5.5%, and let's see where we end up here. And yeah, that's way too high. So let's see if I can snap to this. Move up to, let's say, 8% would be really steep, but we don't even need that. We just need to meet it somewhere around the middle. I mean, it is kinda around the middle, so I don't know, could we maybe go with 7%? The other option would be to, after all, move the mainland a bit further outward here. So I can get more space for this track, which means this could also come down a bit further. After all, we need to shallow out here so that we don't get into the or go underground with the track. But if I go a bit further out here, I get a bit more space to work with. I can make this a bit lower, and everything else might also be working out better at that point. But let's see what 7% looks like. Yeah, that wouldn't be doing it either. I don't expect the train to be able to do 7% on a sustained grade, but since it's pretty much shallows out over there, I can get a bit more speed if it's not going fast already, which it should. And with enough momentum, it should always be able to overcome this part here. So even if it goes a bit higher, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I think this might be my best shot at trying to get this to work. Also, theoretically, if I go down with 7% here, I don't think I need all the headspace on the bridge over there, so yeah, I can maybe compromise that a little, and that should be alright. I don't know. Then again, I'm not really doing much of the whole pronounced term that I have over here. This side is having much more of a bend, and that makes the entire thing a bit longer, and that also means that coming down from here, you would be coming down a bit further. But this seems a bit tight. I would need to get one of the engines and see if there's still some space in between. But yeah, on principle, this is something that I could do, but I will have to see in order to make everything fit here. So it's likely a larger rework of the area, something that you will likely not even notice if you go through here. But right now it's obvious that something needs to be done in order to address this. Gonna have to see about it. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Have a good one, and bye bye.